The tough truth: women aren't usually drawn to nice guys. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out before you jump to the comments. I'm not saying women dislike kind or caring men. I'm also not siding with those so-called alpha male creators who think being cold or distant makes you more attractive. That's not what I stand for at all. What I mean by nice guy is the modern version. A guy who always agrees, always gives in, and puts everyone else's needs before his own. He's super accommodating, overly selfless, and often ends up neglecting himself just to make others happy. At first, this might seem like the opposite of a narcissist, right? But that extreme selflessness isn't healthy or attractive. Nice guys avoid conflict, not because they're chill, but because they're afraid. They're scared of being rejected. They stay quiet, hoping that by keeping the peace, they'll be accepted. But women can sense that insecurity. When your sense of worth depends on whether someone likes you, it comes off as needy, and that's not appealing. I know because I used to be that guy. I wanted so badly to be liked and chosen. But here's the truth. I wish someone had told me, you deserve someone who gives back, who respects you, and doesn't blame you for their bad behavior. If you're a nice guy, chances are you feel walked on. You try not to bother anyone, so you always aim to please. But it's rarely returned, is it? Then you start wondering, am I not good enough? You did everything for them, but they didn't give the same in return. And yeah, that builds resentment. But here's where things go wrong. A lot of nice guys say they're just being kind, but they're actually hoping for something in return. And when they don't get it, they sulk. That's not real kindness. True kindness doesn't depend on how the other person reacts. If someone never reciprocates, don't get bitter. Just adjust how much of your time and energy you give them. That's not being cold, that's having boundaries, that's maturity. When you start expecting love in return for your niceness, it becomes manipulation. And that's not attractive either. Women want a guy who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to speak up, not in a rude or controlling way, but with confidence and clarity. And if you've ever felt like being overly nice has cost you more than just money, like your confidence or control in relationships, then you need to read No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. It's a game changer. I've dropped the link to the book in the description below, so check it out after this video. One reason women turn away from nice guys: they can feel something's off. You're not showing your real self. You're hiding behind a mask to be liked. But what women really want is authenticity. Even if you're not their type, they'll respect you more for being real. So no, you're not broken. I still wrestle with that nice guy part of me. But I've learned being overly nice and self-sacrificing doesn't make you more attractive. It just leads to two outcomes. One, you attract a taker, maybe a narcissist, maybe someone self-absorbed, and you spend months or years trying to change them or wondering why they don't treat you better. But you don't leave because deep down, you're scared you won't find better. Two, or you meet a decent partner, but they lose interest. They sense the people-pleasing and just don't feel the spark. And you're left thinking, why wasn't I enough? The truth is, most women don't want a doormat. They want someone who will challenge them, who is their equal, not someone who just says yes to everything. Want to know what's really attractive? Confidence, assertiveness, not arrogance, not being a jerk, just being real and unafraid to speak your mind. You know why jerks sometimes seem to get attention? Because they don't need validation. They're themselves, take it or leave it. And that kind of detachment appeals to some women with unhealed wounds. But let's be honest, those relationships don't last either. Be confident and assertive without being arrogant. On a date, don't bombard her with "Is this place okay?" Just say, "I'd love to take you here. Does 8 p.m. work?" That shows confidence and thoughtfulness without being over-accommodating. There's a huge difference between showing up as your true self and trying to mold yourself into whatever you think she wants. I used to do that. I always tried to be the perfect guy. I thought, if I give everything, surely I'll be loved. But I ended up feeling empty. I never asked myself, do I even like this person? I just focused on, how can I get them to like me? And that mindset comes from fear, not self-worth. You have to stop fearing rejection. Rejection isn't the real problem. Abandoning yourself. It's okay to date someone and then realize you're not a match. What's not okay is constantly trying to make someone stay when they're clearly not right for you. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being comfortable with your flaws, speaking up for your needs, and not relying on someone else's approval to feel worthy. Confidence means you don't run from conflict. You speak up calmly and respectfully. You protect your values and your partner when needed. That's attractive. Women want someone who will stand up for them, not someone who disappears at the first sign of tension. A confident man also sets boundaries. He knows his limits and communicates them. That's not controlling. That's healthy. Because people will test those boundaries, and if you never speak up, they'll walk all over you. Also, accountability matters. A lot of nice guys confuse apologizing all the time with being responsible. Saying, "I'm sorry," every 5 minutes, even for things you didn't do, doesn't help. Real accountability means owning your mistakes without self-shaming and understanding how your actions affect others. And finally, be passionate. Women love to see a man who is driven, who lights up when talking about his goals. But there's a balance. Don't let your work consume everything. If you're always too busy for your relationship, it doesn't matter how noble your goals are. She needs to feel like a priority too. One last thing, vulnerability. I used to hide my feelings out of fear. But vulnerability, when done in the right way, is powerful. It means opening up about your thoughts, fears, and dreams. It means truly connecting. A lot of guys reject vulnerability, and their partners eventually leave feeling like they never really knew them. Being closed off doesn't protect you. It just keeps people at arm's length. So if you're that nice guy always putting others first, just know it's okay to have needs. It's okay to speak up. That selflessness you're used to, it might come from something deeper, maybe even pain from your past. And that's not your fault. But it's your responsibility now to change the pattern. Because the truth is, being honest, confident, and assertive, not overly nice, is what creates deep, lasting attraction.